All right, welcome to Against All Odds, part of the Extra Points Podcast Network. Happy Tuesday morning. Cousin Sal coming to you here. Spaghetti and meatballs, fiddling with the knobs. Babyface Joel Solomon producing this mess. And joining me, as always, my wizards of wagering, my gurus of gambling, my barons of betting, my overlords of the odds, the degenerate trifecta, Harry, Brother Bry, and Darren, the Parlay Kid. What is happening, fellas?
What's going on, Sal?
What's up, Sal?
What's going on, buddy?
We have quite a task ahead of ourselves here. I don't know that this has ever been done before. I mean, we already set a record early in the year as the first sports gambling podcast, I believe, to have a live engagement when Harry proposed to the lovely Angela. They're getting married next month. Holy crap already. And now we're setting another one. We are going to go over 21 games. Now, it would be 24 games, but 3 teams don't have an opponent in the NCAA tournament because this is Tuesday morning. We've not seen the play-in games yet. So we're going over 21, and then we'll do the remaining 8. There'll be 8 in Friday afternoon and Friday evening. We'll hit that Friday morning. And I don't know how we could do it without our next guest. Forget the NCAA tournament. He makes all his big life decisions by filling out a bracket. He hates Duke so much, he removed the letter K from his laptop keyboard. The host of Titus and Tate podcast. Yes, friend of the program, Tate Frazier. What is happening, Tate?
Yeah. Great to be back, guys. I'm very excited about being here. I'm very excited about seeing all of you. And, I just want to talk about Coach K forever now. You know, it used to be something that I hated talking about, but now bring it up. Let's talk about the farewell tour.
Let's talk about I posed it to these guys, and you would know better as a Carolina Tar Heel fan. That last win in Cameron Indoor Stadium, which, by the way, it's an indoor stadium. People should know that. It's an indoor stadium. I need to point that out. How many wins is that worth? How many regular wins is that worth? Like, could you get blown out in the first round here and it won't matter to you because you beat up on Coach K in his final home game?
This one's forever. You know, I think the Duke fans haven't even processed that yet. You know, I was at the ACC tournament in Brooklyn and Barclays, and I was watching the Virginia-Carolina game. There were a bunch of Duke fans there, obviously pulling for Virginia, as they are prone to do. And as I walked by them, I was just laughing, like cackling, and my friends were all laughing at them. And it's so funny how embarrassing it must be to have that much egg on your face, and the hubris of that moment. And we own Coach K forever now. Whenever we talk about Cameron Indoor, I mean, Tyler Hansbrough, we called it Hansbrough Indoor for 4 years when he went 4-0 and ruined JJ Redick's senior night. JJ Redick was there for this game, so it made it even better. I mean, the best part about it was it wasn't like we just beat Coach K. We beat the entire Coach K, 40-year window with all those players there. We got to see every person that we did not like over that time, and they got to soak in the loss as well. So it was a beautiful moment. It was very, it was Schadenfreude. We got to laugh at their misery, and to hate like this, to have so much joy. It was a great night. And I don't know how many wins it's worth, but it feels like going to a Final Four. That's what I would compare it to. It feels like we made another Final Four. So 21 Final Fours for Carolina now.
Is that what it is? That's the equivalent? Yeah, because I was going to say that should have been your last game of the year. And I wonder if the players, we'll get into your first round matchup and everything, but congratulations to you. That was a monster moment. I
love those kids forever now. I've told all of them. I have been very critical at times this season, but after that game, I don't care what they do. I love them forever.
Well, I don't care what they do either, but I'd like for them, although this might be against the rule. Oh, there's no rules anymore, right? Hit extrapoints.com/arcade. We have our bracket update. Now, if you win, you get $1,000. These kids can play that, right? Can college kids play brackets? I think they can.
I don't know, but Calvin Ridley will play, right?
He's in. He already has like 4 entries. It's weird. So that's for the civilians. You win $1,000. Now, as far as the talent goes, if you come in last, you choose from the cap of consequences. And Harry, I know you love Harry, but he has some oddball Final Four selections. He's putting it all out there. Harry, tell Tate real quick who your Final Four are.
Please.
Yeah, well, I do have Arizona out of the Pac-12, Tate, but I do also have, and I have Texas Tech, who I have winning it, but I have St. Mary's, and I know you're high on UCLA, Tate, but I have St. Mary's and I have LSU. Now, LSU, I know and understand, didn't play really well down the stretch, and Will Wade's out as the head coach, Tate. But listen, hear me out on this. By the way, Lenardi sees LSU going to at least the Sweet 16. under Kevin Nickelberry, who's taken over here. But I think they get a favorable first-round opponent in Iowa State, who 5 times this year, Tate, 5 times scored 40 or less. 2 of the last 3, they scored 41 in the Big 12 tournament against Texas Tech.
They're beating Iowa State
3 games ago.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, we didn't need a whole dissertation
36
here,
points they scored against Oklahoma State.
List your 4 teams.
We get by Iowa State. Wisconsin has Davis, who's hurt, and then you get possibly an Auburn team, Tate, who's only 5-4 in their last 9.
Go ahead,
I love it.
These kids band together and make a run like Steve Fisher, Michigan team did.
Tate, you don't
back
have to love everything Harry does and says. You don't have. I've tried to teach you this for many years now.
I know, but I do love it because I love the passion.
All right, good. All right, Harry, I just want you to make sure you put that in the bracket because the cap of consequences,
It's in, brother.
All right,
it's
good.
in.
Good. Extrapoints.com/arcade. One more order of business. We have our Cinderella challenge right now. And now, if you're a student from a 12, a 13, a 14, or 15 seed school in the men's bracket, we want to pay your tuition. We want to do it. So hit us up at Extra Points Pod on Twitter, and we'll get you going. Nice little contest there. Now, all right, 21 games, Tate, starting on Thursday. That's for me when it really starts. We'll get your thoughts on the playing games later, but we have 21 to hit. So let's do it now. By the way, Chris Fallica, we love Chris Fallica. He says there are 11 first-round games currently with a spread under 3 points. There were 10 combined in each of the last 2 tournaments. The most is 13, 2011 and 1991. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, you're seeing some insane spreads, and we'll start it off with one that's less than 3. Michigan, 2.5 over Colorado State. A lot of people are bummed out. Michigan 17-14, 11-9. They in the conference they lose to IU in the first round. It's insane that they avoided the first 4. I think they did this to keep Juwan out of one extra handshake line. I think that would make sense. That's why he's not playing the play-in game. That Rams, I don't know if you've seen that David Roddy seems to be going pro. 19 points a game, 7 rebounds. Wolverines 2.5 point favorite or more, 7-12 against the spread. I'm going Colorado State. Harry, you're going against me.
I'm going to take Michigan here. Very fishy line here. Very, like you said, Michigan 11 seed against Colorado State, who got a very favorable 6 seed. But Michigan's the favorite. Michigan does have 4 straight Sweet 16 appearances, 4th toughest schedule in the country. Maybe that's why they got such a favorable draw here, and where they avoided having to play in the Wednesday games. Even like you said, Sal, with a 17-14 record. I'm going to take the Wolverines here, and they get the cover against a Colorado State team that isn't that good.
Okay. Tate, are they that good?
I agree with Harry. I'm shocked that Colorado State got a 6 seed, but I think that the committee, if I were to read into it, they put a couple of teams at the 6 line to test them to see if they belonged in the tournament. Texas, they put up against Virginia Tech. Let's see if Texas actually is who they purport to be. I don't think they are. Virginia Tech will probably show us why. And I think here, Michigan, you said the strength of schedule. They've played a lot of good basketball teams. I think that they're going to play hard for Juwan Howard. I would have to believe so. I think you're right, Sal. I mean, he needs to avoid getting upset or getting too implicated into this game. I actually like them without Juwan Howard more than with Juwan Howard, which is crazy to say. I really like Martelli. He's obviously one coach here with St. Joe's back in the day, so he knows what he's doing. So I like Michigan to win this game. I think that's a good. I'm not surprised that they're favored, but I'm also a little shocked that Colorado State was a 6 seed.
All right. So that'll be a fun one. That tips things off, right? Thursday morning. Yeah. That's the early game, 9:20 out here on the West Coast. Beautiful. Can't wait. Now, here's another one. Providence, only a 2-point favorite over South Dakota State. That's the next game. I mean, this is insane for a 3-14, right? This is a 3-14 matchup, and the 3
makes no
is a
sense.
2-point favorite, parlay kid. I saw Providence. I liked them. They were in first all year, pretty much in the Big East, right? They lost twice to Nova, pretty close games. They didn't show up against Creighton. They got thumped in the semis, but they've had a very good year. Right. They were 11-1 in non-conference play, 14-3 in the Big East. Jackrabbits have a 21-game winning streak. I think that's the longest. I like Ed Cooley's team here, 67 points a game and a 312 3-point shooting percentage. Defensively, that's what they allow. So give me Providence -2. I think you agree with me, Parlay Kid.
I do, Sal. Providence has experienced upperclassmen on this team. Watson inside should be able to dominate the smaller Jackrabbits here. They're Big East battle tested. We know that. And basically, I think this game comes down to a defense versus offense type of game, and defense wins these type of games, right? Providence is more known for their defense. The Jackrabbits like to get up and down the court. I think Providence will dictate the pace of play here, and we'll be looking at this like, wow, that was easy money.
All right, Tate. You're going against us, aren't you?
No, I go back and forth. I saw Providence get eviscerated. I was there in an MSG and I saw it live.
Yeah.
And look, Providence, we call it the luck of the Friarish. They have had the luckiest season in college basketball history. They had a game where the ceiling, the arena, the Dunkin' Donuts Center started to leak. So they had to stop the game. And then that helped them kind of rally the troops, and they ended up winning that game in overtime over Xavier. And so that is the type of season that they have had. And I felt like in the building in MSG, all the fans, the Providence fans that were around me felt like, oh my God, our luck might have been, we may have ran out. This is the end. So it does concern me a little bit. I think they do get past the Jackrabbits, and I'm not sure how far they go from there. So I will take Providence in this round. And then I don't have much faith in them moving forward.
Really? I like that. The luck of the Friarish. Did you make that up?
Yeah, that's a coin term for Titus and Tate. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. All right, Memphis. Here's another one. Under 3 points, but this falls in the Thursday morning their time period. They're Memphis 2.5 over Boise State. This is the 8-9 game. I like Memphis. Memphis money coming in. I think it's smart money. Different styles. I think Memphis is more up tempo. Boise's slower pace. Boise still plays on that blue court. Oh no, that's just football. Memphis 10 wins in 11 games to close the regular season. This Jalen Duren, my God, he's going to be a pro, right? Tate, he's 18 years old. I know he had his hand injured in the semifinals before the Houston game, but 6'11", 250 freshman. Yeah. Good Lord. I don't know if they have an answer for him, Boise. Penny Hardaway's team just got better when the injuries seem to subside. They win, they cover, they advance to play Gonzaga, and then that's that for them. Brother Bry, you like the other side here.
Yeah, well, I'm going against Memphis because I was like 0-4 betting them this season. So, both teams are coming into this game playing really well. I mean, Memphis is 12-2 in the last 14. Boise State's 24-3 in their last 27, and one of those losses was overtime. The other was by 3 points. So they're 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. They're 6-1 on neutral site. I think it's going to be a good defensive game, defensive battle by both teams. So I'd prefer to take the 2.5 points in this one.
All right, Tate, you're the tiebreaker here.
I'm going to go with Brother Bry. I want to believe in Memphis. I was early on a big Memphis believer. Larry Brown has become a great, person in my life that I love to reach out to and talk about basketball. Larry Brown will tell me anything about anybody, and he shoots it straight. So I appreciate him for that. I talked to him in January. He told me that they were going to figure things out, and they did. I mean, they made the NCAA tournament. That's impressive for Memphis, but I think Boise actually should have been probably the 6th seed that Colorado State has. I mean, Boise had a really good year, and they got kind of a bad draw here with an 8-9 game, but I think they squeaked this one out and get the win.
Look at you, all grown up. Larry Brown, a father figure. Just
Larry
like that.
Brown.
That's
North
fun.
Carolina, baby. We run deep.
That's fun. All right. Now, this one is not a 3-point spread or anyone near Baylor, 21.5 point favorite. Why not? They're 1 seed. Norfolk State is who they play. Parlay Kid holding on to my Baylor ticket. I have them at 10-1. I believe they're 11-1 now. Look, this LJ Cryer, I don't know. What are you hearing, Tate? Is he coming back? I hear that he's still questionable. I don't they can't win without him. They can't win the whole thing. They can get by some of these earlier games.
That's what concerns me about this team is just the injuries. If they were 100%, this Baylor team would probably repeat, but they can't get it together, and I can't depend on Cryer. So I wouldn't be shocked if Baylor has kind of like the Villanova after they won in 2016 and then they lost to Wisconsin in the second round. I think something like that might happen with this team.
Well, but they do beat up on the garbage. They really do. Yeah. They beat Hartford in their opening round. And so that was a better team, that better Baylor team. They won by 24 their opening game. 6 games outside the Power 6, wins by 27, 29, 45, 45, 37, and 36. And this Norfolk State team, Xavier beat them by 40. I'm taking the Bears here. Harry, you're taking the points.
I'm going to take the points here. Baylor, they're missing some pieces from last year's team. Obviously, not as good, but still a 1 seed. But I think it's too many points here where Norfolk State's done some damage in past history in the tournament before. They've got a guy in Joe Bryant Jr. who scored in double digits, 16 of the last 18 games. They're 24-6. And this is a game where I just think that Baylor does not need to roll it up. They can easily get through this game, win this game by 15-18. The 21.5 is too many. I'm taking Norfolk.
Tate, does the 21.5 scare you? I mean, which we'll go over most of them here, but is there one seed that's not going to win by 20?
I mean, I feel like Baylor should win by 20. I mean, but maybe you take the points because it's that large of a line. Maybe you can. Maybe I'm with Harry there, but I don't know. I think Baylor should blow this team out, and I would suspect so. And maybe they're trying to send a message in this game that, hey, we're here, we're still the champs. We're going to try to make a run again.
Right. All right. So that'll be interesting. These things, they'll be up 24 and then blow it, right? Yeah. I know how it goes. All right. So now we have Tennessee 17 over Longwood. I've been driving Clay Travis crazy, or he's been driving me crazy. Tate, explain to everyone how the 2 and 3 seed doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. Come on.
It matters in this sense. Every single title that Duke has won, they have been a 2 seed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All 5 national titles, Coach K has been a 2 seed. So the fact that he got a 2 seed when he did not deserve one was erroneous and ridiculous. And if I was Tennessee, I would be arguing that they should be a 1 seed. To be honest.
Wow.
I think the SEC is the best conference this season in basketball, and they beat Kentucky twice head to head, which is a 2 seed, and they also won the SEC tournament. I mean. And if you've watched Tennessee, they're a really good basketball team. I love their 3-point guard lineup. So I think they got screwed by Duke. I mean, sincerely screwed by Duke. But it's Coach K's last year, so we all knew what he was going to get. He was going to get.
That's going to be your take no matter what, right? Like everybody got screwed by Duke.
I mean, look, Duke's doing what Duke does. We understand.
Right. All right, I'm sorry. I disagree. I don't think the SEC is a shit. In fact, I don't even think it's the best Southern Conference. The Big South is the biggest and best and the mightiest of the Southern conferences. Griff Aldrich's team draws Tennessee. Tennessee is just crying about getting ripped off seed-wise. Concentrate on playing the game.
Yeah,
26-6. 26-6, Longwood won 19 of the last 20. I'm taking the points. Parlay Kid, you're with me?
Yes, I'm taking the points here. Brian might remember Longwood. We had one of the top players from Long Island, Woodhouse, the point guard from Auburn Fields, Brian, played for Longwood. So we're kind of familiar with it. Last year, we were all over Winthrop, right? Winthrop is in this conference. Everybody loved Winthrop last year. They didn't do anything, but this conference is not a terrible conference. They got some decent, solid basketball teams in here. Longwood's got 3 guards who average into double digits. They shoot 38% from 3. Deshaun Wade shoots at a 44% clip from 3. They beat up Winthrop in their championship game here. This team can play some ball. I think 17 points is just a little too much. I'll take the points with Longwood here.
All right, moving on. Iowa, 10.5. I like them to make the Final Four. I took them to win the Big Ten title at plus 330, 390. I don't know what it is. Tate was surprised that everybody has them going to the Final Four. He likes them. I think you like them too in the Final Four, right, Tate? They're up. They're a favored by 10.5 over Richmond. How do you see it, Tate?
I really like this Richmond team. I had a couple friends growing up that went to Richmond that played baseball at Richmond. So I've always been invested in Spiders basketball. And VCU, we all remember Richmond went to the Sweet 16. VCU goes to the Final Four. So nobody remembers Richmond. Richmond beat Charles Barkley in 1984, that Auburn team. So they have a history in the tournament.
Different guys. A lot of those guys graduated, I think. Maybe one left. Maybe one who just can't get enough credit.
These days with all the extra years of COVID, you never know. Right. But I think that there could be a spoiler here with the Spiders. I would take the Spiders in the points here. This is going to be a close game. I think that Iowa's going to be a little tight in this game. I think Tennessee's going to be tight also against Longwood. So those are going to be they're going to be closer games than the line says, I believe.
Interesting. All right. Brother Bride picked that yesterday as his potential Cinderella team, right, Bride? That was you that said Richmond, but
no, I took South Dakota State.
I said Richmond.
Oh, that's right. Parlay Kid did. All right. Because he has to because of the Dayton thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going Hawkeyes. 4th in the country scoring 84 points a game, 5-0 on neutral courts. And I think Keegan Murray, I said yesterday, makes his biggest move up the ranks in terms of the draft board for potential pros to be selected in the draft there. I'm going minus 10.5. Harry, you agree with me?
I do, Sal. The Spiders played their way in by winning the A-10 tournament. I think that ends here. Like you said, Iowa gets 84 points a game, shoot 47% from the field as a team. Keegan Murray, 4th in Division I in scoring. He can carry this team on his back, gets almost 24 points a game, shot 55% from the field, 41 from 3, and had a great. He's coming off a tremendous Big Ten tournament where he was the MVP. Had 103 points in 4 games. I think it's too powerful of an offense with the Hawkeyes against the Spiders. Give me Iowa. And
all right, now 1 seed Gonzaga, number 1 overall 1 seed Gonzaga, 23.5 point favorite over Georgia State. I'm going to make a case. I'm going to pick Georgia State, but it's hard to make a case for it because they don't really match up. And Gonzaga won by 43 their first game last season of the tournament. This just seems suspiciously low. They won by 43. Not gonna. I don't know. Gonzaga though, not a great moneymaker there. 15-13-1 against the spread in the last 29. Panthers of Georgia State 8-1-1 against the spread in their last 10. Could it be 81-60? Could you see something like that? That's what I think. Georgia State defends the 2 very well, but not the 3. But Gonzaga, as the Parlay Kid has pointed out, is not thriving behind the arc there. Not their forte. I'm going to say 81-60. Brother Bry, you're taking an over-under here.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one here taking it over under for these rather than a side. But yeah, I get a little nervous with these huge spreads for some of these games. So I'm going to go under 149. Look, these Gonzaga totals are usually very high, but Gonzaga doesn't get as much credit sometimes for being a good defensive team when they need to be. The Gonzaga unders are 7-2 in their last 9 games, 17-12 on the season. And Georgia State especially has played unders there all season long. They're 15-4. The unders are in their last 19 games. So I think Georgia State has to try and slow this down to keep it a little bit closer. But then I think it gets out of hand anyway. And then Gonzaga maybe starts playing slow late. So that's why. So your 81-60 score is perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, you'll take that.
Under the 149.
Tate, out of the 1 seeds, you see Gonzaga, like who's going to score in the 90s? Anyone going to score 100? Is Gonzaga going to cover this game?
I think Gonzaga doesn't have the scoring punch that they had last year. I think Arizona is the team that's going to be running up the numbers, and if they play Bryant in the first round, those are 2 of the fastest teams in the country. That game could be like 130-95. I mean, because Arizona wants to run, you know what I mean? And Gonzaga, I think they can slow the game down a little bit now because they have those 2 bigs, and it's okay to be in a half-court game, especially with Chet and Timmy. So they're just a little bit of a different team than they were last year.
Drew Timme, Chet Holmgren, you mentioned both plus 950 to win the most outstanding player. If you had to choose between one of those 2, if Gonzaga was going to win, who gets the award there?
I think that Timmy should get the award, and traditionally 10 years ago he would definitely get the award, but I think in today's NBA world Chet would get it.
All right.
Weirdly,
now
because then he would be the number 1 pick.
That's true. He's fun to watch. Now your team, Carolina, UNC, only 3 over Marquette. Don't hate me, Tate. I'm taking Virginia Tech. I'm taking Marquette, Virginia Tech. I don't know. Look. Here's how you look at it. Carolina lost to Virginia Tech. So is it that they were that team of destiny, Virginia Tech, or is Carolina just going through the motions? Like we said, they beat Duke. It was a game of a lifetime, and whatever. They should have cut down the nets that night after beating Duke. I'm officially taking Shaka Smart until you talk me out of it. Marquette plus the points. But I think whoever wins this game gives Baylor a run for their money. You have to take the heels here.
Yeah, look, Shaka Smart in Texas against North Carolina. I take Shaka Smart every single day of the week. I mean, this is what happens when we play Shaka Smart. Marquette beat and blew us out last year in the Dean Dome. Marquette beat Carolina in the 1977, NCAA championship game. We played them in 2012 and beat them, so we're 1-1 all time. I am very concerned about this game. This team, I hope they learned a lesson last year. They went into the 8-9 game and against Wisconsin and thought they were going to blow out Wisconsin because they should have, because they were a much more talented team. But instead, Brad Davison embarrassed them. So I hope they learned a lesson. I am not sure that they learned a lesson. I do think that they do win this game, though, surprisingly. And then I think they give Baylor a run for their money. I'm not sure they beat Baylor, but I think they sneak by in this game somehow just because they are the more talented team. And I think Baycott is a good matchup on Justin Lewis, and he should have a really good game.
That's the one inside. Yeah. All right, Parlay Kid. Yeah, you're agreeing with Tate here.
Well, you both said they're going to give Baylor a run for the money if they get by this game. So why wouldn't they get by?
Either one. I said whoever wins.
So
yeah.
You did. That's true. So, I think that, like Tate said, they got more talent on this team. They're 23rd in adjusted offensive efficiency compared to Marquette, who's sitting at 105. UNC should dominate the boards in this game against Marquette. Marquette likes to try to force turnovers to get some points off turnovers. I think if Carolina limits their turnovers, plays a smart brand of basketball, they cruise to a victory here.
All right. But Tate, it doesn't really matter because you got Coach K to reprimand his students at his ceremony. I mean, there's his students, his players. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
You're the winner. You win.
We broke him. He finally threw a temper tantrum. I've been waiting for him to throw a temper tantrum for about 3 years, and he finally did it again.
3. That's great. Oh, man. All right. UConn 7. I think there's a little steep. 7-point favorite over New Mexico State. I think they're a bit overvalued. RJ Cole's a fun player, 16 points a game. Sanago is very good. The last time the Aggies were in the tournament in 2019, they were a 12 seed. They lost to Auburn by 1. New Mexico, actually, McCants and Henry both played on that team. Anyway, New Mexico State 17-12 against the spread. UConn 13-18-1 against the spread in their 32 games. I'm taking the points here. Brother Bry, you're with me.
Yeah, I agree. This is that 12-5 matchup. I don't know if they're going to win here, but I think they keep it close. Yeah, UConn's been terrible against the spread this season. They're actually 3-10-1 against the spread in their last 14. Whereas, New Mexico State, it's good to see them back in the tournament, but 4-1 against the spread on a neutral floor. While their schedule was, not maybe that difficult for most of the season, they do have wins against Davidson and like Washington State earlier. So I think they're a good enough defensive team to stay within the 7 here.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tate.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really close game, and I wouldn't be shocked if UConn loses. I think UConn has been a little bit overvalued by everybody. I mean, at the Big East tournament, I heard everyone talking about Villanova UConn as like if there were like 1A, 1B type situation. Mm-hmm. I think Villanova is a much, much better team and has a much better chance to really make a run of this tournament than UConn. So I would take the points there, and I think this will be a really close game.
All right, here's one that shouldn't be close. Kentucky 18-point favorite over St. Peter's. The Wildcats, it's hard to imagine they didn't make it last year, right? And now there's are there 3 pros on this Kentucky team, Tate? Sharp, Sheboy, and Washington? You think they're 3?
Yeah, I think so. And then some of the other guys, I mean, they're going to get looks just because of, being on this team, as is, the reason why a lot of these guys go to Kentucky, right? Even like a Grady, right? Kellen Grady might get a shot, at the UCA just because he's been able to develop, his handle a little bit, and he's not just a 3-point shooter now. So I think this Kentucky team could win the championship. I was a lot more gung-ho on that about a month ago. They've kind of tapered off a little bit for me, but they should win this game by 20 points, 25 points, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you go in 215, you're like, all right, too much size, too much athleticism. You could probably put that on every game, every 215 matchup. But I have this to add. Scotty Farrell, he's a nut. I talked to him yesterday. He was at St. Peter's Mom at the championship game there in that conference, and he said he was bigger than everyone on the floor, and he's not a giant man. I think Calipari wins easy. Lay the 18. Harry, you agree?
Yeah, I do. I like it. Sal, should we be that you mentioned a double machine, average 17 points, 15 rebounds. Wheeler, a guy we didn't mention, their point guard, averages 10 and 7 assists. They average 80 points a game, shoot 48% from the field. And the last time Kentucky played in the tournament in the first round, they won by 35. The Peacocks didn't even win the regular season championship here. I think Kentucky rolls big time.
All right. San Diego State and Creighton. San Diego State, 2.5-point favorite. I'm not going to pretend to have witnessed this with my own eyes, but I read that this is a terrible matchup for Creighton, who, like we said, they thumped Providence. Tate was there. He did see that with his own eyes. But San Diego State, one of the better defensive teams. Creighton, 304th in the country in turnovers per possession. And I think 497th in the world. No, I made that up. 304th in the country. They turn it over like 1 out of every 5 possessions. Parlay Kid, you're going against me. I like San Diego State. You're taking Creighton.
Yeah, well, Sal, this is I think the total in this game is probably the lowest one on the board at 119.5. So anytime we're looking at a really low scoring game, I'll take the points. Especially again, Creighton beat up Providence. They beat Marquette in the quarterfinals of the Big East too. That's 2 quality wins late in the season here. And then just really losing a squeaker to Villanova. So we know San Diego State plays great defense, but Creighton also plays great defense too. They got 4 guys on in this roster. They did have 5 before an injury to one of their players. They have 4 guys who average 10 or more points a game. Even though they don't score a lot, they still can get scoring from different people. I'll just take the points and what promises to be a low-scoring affair.
All right, Tate, you're a tiebreaker here.
Yeah, I'm going to say Creighton really impressed me seeing them in person. I kind of bought in. I've always liked Coach McDermott. He's, they call him an offensive genius. He's a mastermind of sorts. I think that, they figured something out. I am worried about their turnovers, and I'm worried about them against San Diego State. I feel like both these teams are 7 seeds that are playing in an 8-9 game. So they both got really bad draws to have to play each other because you can talk me into both. Honestly, I've watched both this year, but I saw Creighton in person. So I actually picked San Diego State to win this game, but I think I would take Creighton. I think there's more value in taking Creighton because they're playing really good right now, and they believe.
Okay. That's fair. All right, listen, we've got through 11 of 21. It's more or less halftime here. We could take a quick break. I feel like we deserve it. Tate, do we sound like we know what we're talking about, or how are we holding up?
You guys are better than any of the other college basketball analysts that bring me.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at least we can talk about the lines too. I mean, I like to know the lines because then, Vegas always knows. So you can have your own, whatever you think is going to happen. And then Vegas gets you recentered a little bit. So I like to having both sides of the equation. A lot of analytics out there that I'm like, I don't need to hear about Kim Pom anymore, but you guys are using them for the right reasons to make the right.
There you go. Thank you, Tom. That's as good a compliment as we're going to receive. We're able to read notes off of our computer monitors. Thank you. All right, quick break. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. Arkansas, Vermont. People love this game. I really wish they didn't match up because I want Arkansas to go far, but I also think Vermont has some upset potential here. I'm going to take Vermont plus the 5 points. I feel like everyone's taking Vermont, though. And by the way, America East conference expert Mike Francesa weighed in on Twitter. He said Vermont is going to be a tough out. So I don't know where that puts us. But I
don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I know it's not good.
Yeah.
They shoot threes and they bully you down low. I think they lost by 7 to FSU a few years ago in the tournament. They had 16 threes, like a furious rally, but they lost by 7. This year they have 8 players, Vermont does, the Catamounts, with 20 or more threes. I like Arkansas and Musselman. That Jalen Williams, one of the better forwards you'll see this weekend, but I'll take Vermont in the points. They're 7-3 against the spread in the last 10. Too many points. Close game. Harry, you're going Vermont also.
Yeah. Look, this Arkansas team had a great run during the middle of the SEC season. They went 14-1 in a 15-game span, but just lost in an awful game against A&M in the SEC tournament. This is this team that Arkansas, I think they either can make a major run. They could lose this game straight up right here. It's a low number here. Catamounts have done it, pulled the upset before in the tournament. They beat my Syracuse. And Vermont is won 22 of the final 23 games. Their only loss was by 1 point in overtime. I'm going to take the 5 here.
All right. You like the SEC. Arkansas could bang with everybody in the SEC, but is this too many points?
JD Notae could win this game and just has a great game and drops 30 points. And you're just like, why did anyone think that Vermont was going to win this game? They have that type of talent. You mentioned Jaden Williams.
His games in the tournament last year, Tate, were not that great, though, if you look at his numbers last year.
And guess where this game is? Buffalo, New York. So Arkansas is a long ways from home. They're not going to have that home atmosphere. So I like the idea of Vermont feeling a lot more comfortable playing in Buffalo and being a team that has a bunch of 23 and 24-year-olds that play a lot of, real good team brand of basketball. Yeah. So that's why I believe in Vermont. But what really scares me is that everyone else is picking Vermont. So I think that is like fueling. I have a bunch of Arkansas people reaching out to me being like, we're going to blow these guys out now because we got all the bulletin board material we need. I do buy into that a little bit too. So I'm a little hesitant, but I think Vermont wins.
Yeah, sure. And they're not going to sneak up on them. That's for sure. Everyone picking Vermont.
They're very aware that everyone is picking Vermont.
They have Francesa's head on a bulletin board. Do you think? Is that how it works? Big fat head. All right. So there you go. Harry and I like Vermont plus 5. This is an interesting game. San Francisco versus Murray State. Now, San Francisco was favored by 1.5. This is the 10-7 or the 7-10 matchup. Now Murray State is favored by 1.5. This is a game. I mean, can you imagine this is a first round game? This seems like a third round game where like, oh shit, wow, things went very wrong for San Francisco to play Murray State. But it's a first round game. Murray State 20-0 in Ohio Valley. They had just 2 losses overall. Wins over Davidson and UAB, who is in the tournament. You know, I like San Francisco. 4-1 against spread in the last 5. Murray State 1-4 against the spread in the last 5. San Francisco, they got beat up by Gonzaga all year, and I think they come in with a chip on their shoulder and they win and cover. Harry, you like them too?
I do too. This is probably the fishiest game in terms of spread in the whole tournament for the first round, I believe. Like you said, mentioned Sal, everyone seems to be on Murray State. The line has swung 3 points now. 20-0 in conference, 20 wins in a row. But the Dons are 7-2 on the road this season. And in 3 meetings versus Gonzaga this season, they held the Zags to 28% or less in 2 of those 3 games from 3-point range. I'm going to take San Fran here. The West Coast Conference, Tate, you would agree, I'm sure, had probably their best season we could ever remember. Santa Clara was a team that could have maybe even made the tournament as well.
Tate, you don't have to agree. You do whatever you want here.
I was going to say, so when Carolina, everyone was telling me they were on the bubble, even though they were in 3rd place in the ACC, I had to start arguing with WCC fans about, they were like, San Francisco is going to be in over Carolina. And I'm like, in what world? And then you start watching the WCC as I did, because I'm like, you got to know your enemies at this point, because I'm like, I got to argue against San Francisco. I learned a lot about this team, and they're a really, really good basketball team. I like Murray State. I think that, they've won 30 games, right? They're the most wins in the country. So this team knows how to win basketball games. It's a really tough first round matchup, but I have to ride with San Francisco, and it might be my bias because I've watched more games, but I think this is a really good team. And like Harry said, they're a really good road team. And I love road teams in the tournament. That's why the SEC scares me, because all their big wins come at home when they're in the jungle or wherever their home court is. And when you put them on the road, they're a different team. So I think that's a big difference in this game. So I'm going to go San Fran as well.
All right. It's a clean sweep. UCLA, Akron, UCLA laying 14. I was trying to look at Akron in their season. They lost by 1 to Ohio State in November, and then really nothing good.
All right.
Nothing good the rest of the way. And they had 9 losses in that conference. UCLA, I know you don't like the Ken Pom, but 8th in the Ken Pom, 10 in the net, 10 in the BPI, 10 in the RPI, and 10 in the Barthag. What's the Barthag, Tate? What is that?
Too much. Torvik. I mean, there's too many of these things. And I like Kim Pom. I do. He's a good guy, and I think he does a good job. But there's just too many numbers. And, all I ask is that if you do base everything around, Torvik and net and Kim Pom, is at least watch, at least have watched the game. So there's a lot of that too. So is there a world where you and Larry Brown and Ken Pom go to dinner? I think so, and then Larry chokes him out. And then
I see.
That's the name of the episode. Larry chokes out Kim Pom.
I love it.
That'll be
it's
fun.
So
All right, make sure you record that.
I will.
Make sure you get the Ringer video crew to record that. I like.
They work for JJ Redick now.
That's right. I like Mick Cronin's team a lot. I know Akron plays slow tempo. So you got to be careful. But Tiger Campbell seems to take care of the ball well enough. Jaquez, Juzang, Bernard. They'll hit double figures in this game like they average. UCLA minus the 2 touchdowns. Parlay Kid, what do you like?
Well, Sal, you say Akron plays slow tempo, but they did score 102 against Point Park and 99 against Wheeling Jesuit. So I guess they can score when they want to. No, Sal, I love UCLA in this matchup. I'll take minus 14, whatever. They're much more talented team out of these two. I don't even think UCLA has really put it together yet this year, like their best ball. I think they're saving it for the tournament here. I think this, like you said, I think this is a team that can make a deep run. They're not going to play any games here in round 1, Sal. This is going to be a blowout.
All right. By the way, I got a letter, Cousin Sal against all odds at gmail.com. You believe we still haven't changed the email address, Tate, all these years? Cousin Sal against all odds at gmail.com. It just flows. It's easy. People remember it.
Really? Yes.
What's going on, Sal, in the D3? As a St. Mary's grad, my initial excitement from hearing Harry show my school some love soon turned to disgust when he kept saying that we are 17 miles away from UCLA.
All right.
10 seconds of research would have shown that St. Mary's is located in the small town of Moraga, which is about 17 miles away from the campus of Berkeley and 25 miles from the city of San Francisco. As I'm sure you and most people know, UCLA is located in LA, which is about 400 miles south of the Bay Area. This obviously begs the question, does Harry know what UCLA stands for? And does he know that they are a different school than Cal Berkeley? Probably just a mistake, but I have to stand up for my school, especially since his effusive praise of the team will doom us for a first round exit. Love the pod. Keep up the great work. Joe from Oakland. You know where Oakland is, Harry? It's in New Mexico, right?
Yeah, it's in Michigan, right? Tate, Michigan, University of
Boy,
Oakland,
you're so
right?
proud when you throw the geography at us, and you were so wrong with
I
this.
know.
Well, okay. Listen, I did pull up. I was quickly pulling up. I wanted to see exactly how many miles away St. Mary's was from UCLA, and I punted on St. Mary's University, and it said 13 miles. So my mistake. It did. But
You're
but
sticking
listen,
to your guns here.
But I still. But I still did. I'm still backing the Gales. I'm still backing again the West Coast Conference again. And I did just check this up, by the way. I just did look this up. Willing Jesuit is ranked higher than Dayton Parlay Kid.
Do you want to check it again? Because your research hasn't been stellar. Check it again. Do you come across these problems a lot, Tate, with geography and not knowing where you are when you're traveling?
We actually just had a St. Mary's guy come after Titus on our show because Titus has actually been to a game on campus there. So he knows exactly where it is.
Okay.
And he said Central California, which obviously it's not Central California. It's like right in the Bay. But like, he just said that offhand. It was, I don't even remember him saying that really, but some guy was tweeting at us saying, we are not in Central California. We are not Fresno. Okay. But yeah, Harry, you're not alone. It happens to.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I'm back. Listen, guy should be thrilled I'm back.
We
in
love
the
the
Gales,
Gale.
right? Who's ever back?
You could just find out where they are. You back them.
That's it.
All right. Hey, take a shot on college hoops this March with a risk-free bet on FanDuel Sportsbook. Doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. All customers get a risk-free bet on the bracket. Just sign in to the FanDuel Sportsbook app to claim yours today. New to FanDuel? Sign up with promo code Against All Odds to get in on the action. Then you can bet on that underdog you've always had your eye on. Is it the Gales? No, I don't even know. They're not going to be. They don't have a line yet. Just go with the favorite. Whatever you want to do is risk-free, and with cash out, the ball's in your court, so you can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is over. There's no better place to bet the tournament than FanDuel Sportsbook. Join now with promo code Against All Odds, or if you already have an account, sign into FanDuel Sportsbook app to claim your risk-free bet today. All right, now to the Friday games. We'll do only a few of these because we want to leave the afternoon. We're doing great, guys. Keep it up. Doing a few of these. Loyola, Chicago, that tips off early Friday. A 1-point favorite over Ohio State. Talk about a fishy line, Harry. I know it's a trendy pick and you feel smart if you win and you take Loyola, and that's what I'm doing here. And Sister Jean is in the mix still. Tate, have you and Titus interviewed Sister Jean yet?
No, she hates me. She's like my nemesis.
Is that right?
I was gonna say Tate never. Tate always had a problem with Sister
Well,
Jean.
she hates you though. What do you mean?
I call her Sister Meme because she like takes over and makes internet memes of herself and acts like she made it about herself. I mean, and I always ask people, name one of the players on the team, and especially the first time around in 2018, nobody knew anyone. We were in San Antonio. Every single random person, I was like, name one player on Loyola. They were in the Final Four. Everyone's like, nah, I don't know. Yeah.
Harry thought Loyola was in France. He had no idea. Forget about naming a player.
The two biggest narcissists in college basketball are Coach K and Sister Jean. Fact.
I mean, does she get a retirement tour like Coach K, or is she just going to die one day? And everyone
she'll get a tour. It'll probably be next year. I think she does a tour next year. And Coach K is jealous because she gets more presents.
You're going to have to organize. You and Titus are going to have to organize that tour. But Loyola, I don't think they're as good as they have been in the past, at least on paper. I know they lost to Michigan State by 2. They lost to Auburn by 9. They crushed Arizona State. And I guess EJ Liddell could take over, but they've not been great down the stretch. Ohio State lost 4 of the last 5. No. Drew Valentine is now the coach of Loyola. He was an assistant when they had their Final Four and Sweet 16 run. So he knows he's been around it. I think he gets them there. I'm going to take them. It's a pick 'em game, basically. I'll take them -1 right now. Brian, you're with me.
Oh, 1 to -1. Yeah, I'm still taking them. Sister Jean, I think she turned like 114 this year.
Wow.
God
bless.
She's 102. I think she still is.
Oh my
Crazy.
gosh.
But Loyola is one of those teams I've lost again. The two run between last year and whatever it was 4 years ago when they had that run, if it was 4, I forget. But I've lost a ton of money on them. I kept going against them, but I'm going to back them for a few games this year.
Right.
They bring back Williamson and Norris, who were key pieces last year to this team. And, you mentioned they had, that game against Auburn earlier in the year was close. The Michigan State game, they had a shot of winning that one. And they also beat Vandy early in the year. So, this is a team that, when the tournament comes around, they play at their pace. They just, they play really well. They don't turn the ball over, it seems. You have to hate the way Ohio State finished up. They had losses to Nebraska, Maryland, Penn State, losing 4 of those 5. So that's why most likely I think Loyola pulls this one out here.
Titus will be a basket case if they lose this game, right? Or is he?
He will be a basket case.
He will.
He will be very upset.
So you have to root for Loyola here.
Yeah. No, I picked Ohio State on the show so that we keep things going smooth. Because I'm praying that Sister Jean, I'm praying that God's not listening to Sister Jean on this day, or whoever she praises. I don't know, some sort of demigod who owns the basketball power. But how do you bet against Sister Jean? You can't. And Ohio State, even if they're up 30 at halftime, they could blow it. That's the problem with this team. This team, I don't know what it is, but they do not know how to close out a game. And they have 2 NBA players on this team. They have a guy who should be a first-team All-American in E.J. Liddell. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, I cannot be assured in picking them to win this game, even though they're the more talented team.
Wow. So interesting.
I took Ohio State, but I am fearful that Sister Jean does it again.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
All right. Auburn, 15.5 over Jacksonville State. I'm taking Jacksonville State. I don't know much about them other than it seems like they live and die by the 3, and I'm betting on live. 38% of their points have come from the 3. I think they get hot. They have a lead. They blow it. They scare an overvalued 2 seed in Auburn. I would take the points here. Bri, you like Jacksonville State also? Yeah,
I would take the points here too. Yeah, that's one of the things you like in the March Madness, right? Is these 3-point shooting teams. So I think they could, I think they could keep it close for a little bit of time. This was a team that's lucky. They're lucky to be in the tournament. They really shouldn't be in the tournament. So they might have a little chip on their shoulder. They've covered 5 of the last 6. They were competitive against the Bama team earlier in the season where they were like 20-point underdogs in that one too. So I think they can keep this. I do like Auburn in general in this tournament, but I think they might struggle early on here, and they'll cover the 15.5.
All right. Tate, you have a feel on this?
Yeah, I think Auburn gets probably scared in this game a little bit. Auburn has this air about themselves where they walk into any game and they think they're going to blow out the other team because we have all coronated them as the best team in the country, most talented team in the country. So I'm very concerned about them in any game in the tournament because of that attitude that they seem to have as a team. And Walker Kessler is not 100% right now, so they're not necessarily the fully formed version of themselves. Their guards do not pass the ball to Jabari Smith when they should. They have some real core problems and core issues that have not been addressed because they have been able to win games regardless. So I wouldn't be shocked if a good team, kind of gets their attention. So I would take the points in this game.
There you go. All right, there's another spread that's 15.5. This is 15, actually. Texas Tech, 15 over Montana State. I looked at Montana State. South Dakota State, also in the tournament, beat them by 17 early in the year. And Texas Tech, great resume, right? Yeah. They would actually down 1 to Kansas in the Big 12 championship and then blew it. And they just, it was lights out, really. But they have wins against Kansas and Tennessee, Baylor twice, Texas twice. I think Coach Mark Adams gets that aggressive defense ready. South Dakota State has trouble scoring. I'm laying the points, given the 15. Parlay Kid, you're taking here.
Yeah, I'll take the points. I just don't think Texas Tech can light it up enough offensively, being that they play a little bit of a more methodical pace here. Montana State, just looking at the numbers, they seem to be comfortable from playing from the perimeter. They shoot the 3 ball pretty well. They're also a team that gets to the free throw line at a high rate, and they shoot 75% from the line, which could come in handy when you're getting 15. I like Texas Tech to win this game. I just think the 15 is too high for a team that is 18-2 here in their last 20, and they do some good things. So I think Montana State keeps this close enough. It's going to probably be a double-digit loss, but hopefully it's around 10 or
All
11
right, Tate,
points.
you're a tiebreaker here.
I think I'm going to take Texas Tech winning by more than 15. I really like this team, and they lead the country in paint points allowed. There you go. So nobody can really drive on this team and get easy points. And I feel like a team like Montana State's not going to be able to score as they've been, prone to do the rest of the season, because Texas Tech, I mean, they have a suffocating defense. And I wouldn't be shocked if they make a little run to the Elite Eight and they give Gonzaga some real trouble because of their defense. And I care way more about defense than anything else when it comes to NCAA tournament guard play and defense. So Texas Tech checks the boxes, and I think they win this game by more than 15. So I'll take Texas Tech.
Is that true? Guard play, defense. So that was because I think we put coaching in there, right? Is coaching third for you?
Coaching is probably first, honestly.
Oh, first. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, because there's college basketball is coaching.
Right.
That's why there's certain teams like LSU. I think that Harry's right. They're going to be better because Will Wade is not there, because he's not a good coach. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you have like Bob McKillop at Davidson is a scary team to me, because they have a really good basketball coach, a guy that can scheme against another team, watch tape, know how to get them in situations where they don't want to be in. And there's a lot of college teams that don't necessarily have that. But once we get to the tournament, obviously we have that. So I think that's number one, and then defense, then guard play.
All right. For me, it's Ken Palm 1, Barthag 2, cheerleaders 3. How can you argue with that? Purdue, oh, wow, another one. We got hit with 3 15s in a row. This is a 15.5-point favorite over Yale. This is the afternoon games on Friday, tipping off about 1 Eastern. Purdue 15.5 over Yale. I like Yale, even though they lost by 22 to Auburn. St. Mary's beat them by 27. I know I'm not making a great case for them, but Purdue, I bet them a bunch. And they have a tendency to start off slow offensively. And also, the knock on them is they're not great at guarding ball screens. And against these Ivy League teams, that seems like a disaster. You can get pick and rolled to death. Maybe they're behind. Maybe they come back. I think 15.5 is too much. Purdue 1-8-1 against the spread in the last 10. Give me the Bulldogs plus this big number, Harry.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sal. Purdue, not that great, especially of late second half of the season in the Big Ten. Not that great on the road. 17 total road games for Purdue this season. They won by 16 or more just once. I think Yale eventually will lose out to the Purdue because of their height. But I'm going to take Yale with the points here. Guard Azir Swain will keep Yale in the game, I think. He's got 21 points or more in 4 of his last 5. Give me the 15.5 with the Eli.
Tate, what do you think?
I think this Purdue is a troublesome team. I mean, they get tight. I mean, we saw what happened last year to North Texas. They've been here before, and I would definitely take Yale. I'm not saying that Yale's going to win this game, but it's going to be a close game just because of the fact that Yale plays good basketball.
All right.
Tate, by the way, what do you think of Painter as a coach overall?
I think Matt Painter can coach certain guys, and certain guys on his team aren't really willing to be coached right now. You know what I mean?
So you wouldn't say he's a great coach, right?
I think he's a solid coach. He learned from Bob Knight. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hasn't done much, right? Hasn't done much in the tournament.
This is yesterday's argument, Tate.
Still waiting. Still waiting, Tate.
Still waiting on him to make that run. But I think that what he's done in the Big Ten, I have a lot of respect for. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
I have to say, I didn't get a ton of emails about Parlay Kid, proclaiming that Painter's a good coach, but certainly got a bunch about Harry and his geography. So we'll see. I don't know. Villanova, another 15.5. Holy crap. Delaware. I love Nova. Our friend Joey graduated from Delaware. He was very excited in 1990. He was a freshman in college. They made the tournament, and then they got punished by Cincinnati. Same here. Sorry, Joe. It's not going to happen.
I was at that game.
You were there? Oh, it was in Dayton?
It was in Dayton, right. Yeah. I was in that game. Van Exel was playing for the Cincinnati.
I think Iona beat them by 11. Davidson beat them by 22. I love Jay Wright's team here. They're patient. You talk about guards, Gillespie and Moore, 2 of the best. I think they break them down. Big win for the Wildcats. I'm laying the points, Brother Bry. So are you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Delaware had a nice run in their tournament, but they weren't really lighting it up before then. I think they had struggled in their prior 3 games. So yeah, I think this is a blowout. It's weird with Nova though. They can kind of play any style they want, right? They used to be more of a fast-paced, up-tempo team a little bit with those good teams a few years ago, and then recently a little bit more slower pace. But yeah, I think this one is still, Delaware is kind of happy to be in the tournament. I don't think this is close. Sorry, Joe.
This is my team, Tate. Nova winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I saw it up close and personal in the Big. This team is determined. Colin Gillespie is expecting to win the national championship. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I think this team has done a Final Four team. I don't know if it means that they beat Arizona. I think Arizona gets knocked off before they see Villanova. But Villanova, this is a great draw to start out their tournament. You get a nice, clean win over Delaware. You know, a team that's familiar in your region, and then you start the path to the Final Four. And I think that. I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I mean, especially when I was in 2018, I was like, there's no way Villanova can just win another national championship. And then when they did and blew out Kansas, I was like, oh, Jay Wright's, he's on a different plane right now. He can do anything. And like parlay, or like what Brother Brian was just saying, they can play up tempo or they can slow it down. And Gillespie, he can limit possessions in a game. He's that good of a point guard. And there's not one guard on the first team All-American list this year. It's all forwards and centers. So like guard play is a little bit down this year, and we're all trying to figure out who the best point guard is in the tournament. But when you got guys like Andrew Nimhard at Gonzaga, Tiger Campbell at UCLA, Colin Gillespie at Villanova, those are teams that you can really buy into because they can actually control a game by being a true point guard.
I love that. I love what you just said. I think my money is going to have to go on those three. Just money line parlay, everything I got on those three first round. Easy. Got to do it. USC 1.5 point favorite over Miami. This is a fun one. Miami a little underrated. I think they beat Duke. Tate, you love that. 14-6 in ACC play. 4 of those 6 losses came by one possession, and 3 of them were by a single point. I think Jim Larranaga ekes this one out over a USC team. Went far last year, but maybe a little bit overvalued. Parlay Kid, you're going USC.
Yeah, I am, Sal. I think USC is a really good 7 seed. Coming out of the Pac-12 at 25-6. These two teams play a little different style. USC is more under control, little more half-court type of offense. They can run when they want to, but I think they like to slow the pace down, especially with Mobley, who likes to get in the paints and post up a little bit. Miami likes to run. I think defense here wins out, and rebounding by USC wins out against a pretty solid Hurricanes team. But I think, like I said, I think USC is a really good 7 seed.
Tate is taking Miami. I'm almost certain of it. No,
I would take Miami if they weren't playing USC. I think USC should have been a 6 seed, like where Colorado State was. I keep giving Colorado State 6 seed to everybody, but I think USC could have been there as well. I think it's a bad draw for Miami. Miami's a really good team. Jim Larranaga should have won ACC Coach of the Year. I thought I understood the Wake Forest propaganda of them being back. That got them the ACC Player of the Year and the Coach of the Year. So I tip of the cap to the Demon Deacons. Wish they were playing the tournament, but Miami just got a bad draw here, and I think they don't win this game, and USC is able to pull it through. And I think USC makes a little run again because they're a really talented team. I like Drew Peterson. I mean, a lot of people talk about Isaiah Mobley, but Drew Peterson's going to be in the NBA. I mean, he really is like a 6'9" Mike Dunleavy type. So I find.
And Enfield's a heck of a coach too.
Yeah,
right?
that's so, if Larranaga,
you better check with Harry. Yeah,
yeah. What do you think, Harry?
Did a great job at Florida Gulf Coast, right, Tate?
That's right.
There you go.
All right, we got one more. Let's dig deep, Brother Bry. Texas, basically a pick 'em, 1 point favorite over Virginia Tech. First time these teams have ever met. Interesting. I feel like Virginia Tech is a team that just gave it everything they had at Barclays there. Storm Murphy they were playing with such energy. He never picked up his dribble. They hit like 10 for 22 from 3. They left it all on the table there. And that's why I'm going with Texas in this game. I don't know if they have anything left, Virginia Tech, and Chris Beard's a tournament guy, tournament coach. Give me Texas. Brother Bry, you agree?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I went back and forth, and at first I like Virginia Tech, but I feel like everybody is on Virginia Tech. We know Tate's going to be on Virginia Tech here too, I'm sure. But while Texas had a rough stretch, I mean, they were 0-6 against the spread in their last 6. But I'm trusting. You talked about it before with coaching being the most important. I'm trusting that Chris Beard has used this extra time and the rest to devise a good game plan for taking Virginia Tech down. So, I think, Virginia Tech's probably riding a little bit too high emotionally from that last from that ACC tournament. So give me Texas -1 here.
I thought I read that they're the highest seed to ever win the the ACC tournament. But how could that be with NC State's miraculous run? Did I read that wrong? Were they 10? Were they both 10?
NC State was a 10, yeah.
Oh, they're both okay. I see. All right, so that makes sense there. But you're taking Virginia Tech anyway.
I mean, I hear what you guys are saying about the emotion of it all. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that they just lay a flat egg in this game, but that means they would have to play a good team, and they're not playing a good team. They're playing Texas, and Chris Beard is a good coach for players that actually buy into Chris Beard coaching them. This team does not do that. So I think Chris Beard could coach a lot of players to win this game. I'm not sure it's this group. I'm excited to see when Chris Beard gets his group into Texas. I think he can really do something there, but I don't think it's going to be this year. And Virginia Tech is a bad draw for Texas. Like if I was Texas and we got an 11 seed, I would have taken Michigan over Virginia Tech as far as, who's hot, who's coming in. So, I'm going to take Virginia Tech, but I hear what you're saying about the emotions because they did give it all. And I don't know if Storm Murphy can do that to Texas, but we'll see.
Also a low number here, 125. So they expect in the low 60s, both sides. Guys, I'm so proud of you. We did it. We knocked out 21 games in a little under an hour. Tate, you will be at Harry's wedding?
Yes, I can't wait.
Yes.
In the rehearsal.
Very excited.
Yeah, Tate.
Yes.
Who has better odds of hooking up with one of Angie's bridesmaids, you or heel producer Jim Cunningham?
Oh, Jim Cunningham. Jim Cunningham has no standards. So,
well, there you go.
Hey, Harry,
that's the place for him then.
Whatever you need, send them a tip. If someone
Jim told me he's been on fire lately too with the ladies.
He's on fire. He's something else. He's like hitting on the lady checking us in at our hotel. I'm like, she's not trying to do her job.
Yeah, she's stuck behind the desk, Jim. Keep it in your pants. I love it. You know what?
So
Here's
good.
what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you $200, and you could spend it how you want. I'm going to try to direct you in a certain way. You could spend it on edibles, which I know is probably your first priority. You could buy Harry a nice gift. I recommend you don't do that. Or I'll put bets in for you on this tournament. Let's do that. Forget the first things I mentioned. Who do you like?
Love
it
it.
doesn't have to be on the individual game. You could be on a region to win it all. What do you like here?
I have Villanova winning their region.
Okay.
I have Kansas to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the other as far as the other lock.
UCLA
obviously to win their region.
Did you bet those already, or these are your
So
picks?
at the beginning of the year, I bet two teams. I bet Carolina to win it all, 35-1, and I bet Kansas to win it all, 25-1.
Okay.
I still like this Kansas. I think Ochai Agbaji is the best player in the country.
Really?
And I think that no one will say that because we don't like defense anymore. But Ochai Agbaji is the best two-way player in the country, and I think Sheboy is going to win it as he did. I mean, he's had a great season and the double doubles. He's done the things that get you the credit to win. But that's why I like Kansas. And then Davidson over Duke. If Davidson gets past Michigan State, I like Davidson over Duke. That would be my big bet. Money line, Davidson.
Interesting. All right. Well, so what am I supposed to do here? I wanted to be done with this here. Can we bet Kansas 10-1 and who else did you say? Nova? What are they?
Do Nova
in the
region and Kansas to win it.
All right. So why don't we put 100 on Kansas at 10-1 for you?
Love it.
And for the region, what'd you say? Nova, the 3-something. Oh, the plus 550. 100 on them.
Nice.
You like that?
I like Nova. They really impressed me. I walked away from the Big East tournament thinking to myself, wow, Villanova, if they win another national championship, I wouldn't be surprised.
There you go. All right. You did it. You made 15. I mean, you spent an hour with us and you made $1,500 just like that. Right? Good job by you, Tate. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Babyface, you have anything to add?
Yep. 100%.
What do you have to do, Tate? Can Larry Brown make this happen, or Ken Palm?
I got to get some respect. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of basketball coverage out here. I got to get the respect. This whole Coach K thing, I broke the farewell tour. I got the news from Nike, and then Coach K wouldn't even acknowledge that I did that. I'm just like, come on, guys, give me something.
He's been holding you back, Coach K. Once he's gone, that's when you fly.
I
Spread
think
your
open
wings.
up. Yeah.
There you go.
No
All
doubt.
right. I love it. Thank you for coming on. Tate, plug everything you have going.
Titus and Tate podcast. We're every single night after the games, we'll be going and doing a show live from the Fox lot. So you'll find us on our YouTube, which is Titus and Tate, youtube.com. You can do that. And then I did a series, The World of Five Star, which is a podcast series that we produce my company. And Coach K is in that. I had to interview Coach K, and it was one of the funniest experiences of my life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Going to Hell's Gate, and
That's great.
Back to life. So those are all the things going on, and I love being back with you guys. And I know Jim Cunningham misses it too. So we had great times with the AAO crew always.
We love him too, but he could never wake up before
Awesome
noon.
stuff.
So it was a tough gig for him.
Hey, he still can't.
And don't forget, Tate will be participating in the race to 69 at Harry's wedding. So don't.
Yes.
You must be in on that. All right. That'll do it for another episode of Against All Odds. For Mikey Meatballs, for Eddie Spaghetti, for Babyface Joel Solomon, the Degenerate Trifecta, and the great Master Tate Frazier, I'm Sal, saying so long and happy handicapping.